Take your blanket and fold it twice as I'm showing, and place it at the back of your mat. Sit on the blanket and cross your ankles with the right ankle in front and slide your feet under your knees. If your knees are uncomfortable, rest them on blocks. Now, sitting up tall, hold your right knee with your left hand and place the right hand on the mat behind you. Notice this turns your upper body slightly to the right. Be aware of a steady breath and quiet eyes. Balance the hips by equally pressing both hips to the blanket, and then deepen the twist further by pressing the right hand to the floor, and with an exhale, pull your upper right ribs gently back. You'll feel a stronger response in your upper back muscles. You're just waking them up. Turn your head to coax a nice stretch for the neck. Inhale, release, and return to center. Change your cross legs so the left ankle is in front of the right with feet under knees. Hold the left knee with the right hand. The left hand is on the floor behind you. Sit up tall, lifting from the lower back belly. Make your front body as long as the back. You may feel this is ample rotation for your spine, but if you can go further, center your hips, and on an out breath, gently pull your left side ribs back to increase rotation. Remember to keep the hips centered and turn your head to the right for a nice stretch. Inhale, release, and center yourself. Sitting cross-legged, sit tall. If you have trouble making the spine tall, add a second blanket. Bring your right hand to the floor about a foot to the side of the hips. Inhale, take your left arm forward, and exhaling, raise the arm to the ear, stopping if the neck tightens or your elbow bends. So with the arms straight, inhale and pull the left side longer. Breathe out and reach right, stretching the left side of the body. Keep the left hip on the mat. Inhale, release, and return to center. Let's change the cross legs once more. Place the left hand a good foot to the side of the hips. Breathe in, take the right arm forward, pulling your inner shoulder blades down your back. Breathing out, bring the arm to the ear, or as far as you can, raising the arm without bending the elbow or tightening the neck. Inhale, lengthen the right side, and exhale, reach overhead to the left, keeping the hip down. You can feel the stretch in the side body, and imagine you're breathing into that stretch. Breathe in to release and center yourself. Stand at the front of your mat with your feet hip-width apart and parallel. Look at your feet and place them so the knees and feet face forward. Now shrug your shoulders up to your ears and then release them. Really let them drop. Do that a couple more times. Shrug and drop. Shrug and drop. Hopefully your shoulders are already feeling a little more free. Let's do that again, changing it up a bit. Shrug your shoulders up as before, and now roll them back and drop them down. Do that again. Shrug your shoulders up, roll them back, and drop them down. Once more on your own. Resting your arms at your sides, gently lift your side ribs. Breathing in, raise your arms parallel to the floor, and breathing out, sweep them behind your back, bringing the back of each hand to the lower ribs. Gently press those ribs into the hands. You may feel like you're slightly rounding when you do this. And keeping the ribs pressed against the hands, exhale and slide the side ribs towards the collarbones to elongate the upper back. Don't let those lower ribs push forward, and don't tuck your tailbone. Release the arms to the sides and feel loose shoulders. Inhaling, raise your arms parallel to the floor. And with an exhalation, raise them by the ears. Only raise the arms as far as you can, keeping the arms straight. Try not to scrunch your shoulders by the ears. You have the memory of your hands on your back ribs, right? Breathe into your lower back ribs, and exhaling, stretch the arms up further to elongate your spine without pushing the lower ribs forward. Inhale, lower your arms to your sides. Keep the side body tall, and rest your collarbones on your torso like a light collar. Breathe in, take your arms forward. Breathe out the arms by the ears. Inhale, bend your knees, hinging slightly forward at the hips to chair pose. Reach with the arms as though to the top of a far wall, staying aware of lengthening your mid-back. The back of the neck is long as well, and you gaze slightly down. On your next breath out, hinge over deeper, placing your fingers on the floor, keeping the back long. If you cannot do that without rounding your back, place a block under your hands. Exhale, letting the torso melt into the legs, keeping the knees bent at first. This is standing forward bend. Let your torso hang with a heavy head so the neck releases, and heavy shoulders so the whole spine can lengthen in response to the pull of gravity. You can hold your head and gently lengthen the neck more. And then drop the arms again. And slowly straighten the knees as much as possible for you without losing the feeling of the relaxed torso. Hands on the floor. Inhale and step the left foot to the rear of your mat. Align the right knee over the ankle and the thigh parallel to the floor. The knee and foot face forward. Now bend the right knee more deeply, lowering the left knee to the mat for low lunge. You may wish to put a blanket under the knee for padding, and if your knee hurts, keep it over the ankle. Hold your right knee, bringing the torso upright. And stabilize the pose by drawing the belly gently in, but don't tuck your tailbone. Lean slightly forward, so the upper body is forward of the hips. Inhale the left arm forward and exhale the arm up, reaching as though toward the top of a far wall. Lengthen the middle back. And now inhaling, bring your torso upright, and exhale to lift and lengthen the back body more. Keep the neck long. Inhale, lower your hands to the floor, and exhaling, step forward, returning to standing forward bend. Inhale, step the right foot to the rear of the mat, into a lunge with the left knee over the ankle and the thigh parallel to the floor. Now take the knee slightly forward, placing your right knee on the mat with padding if needed. Holding your left knee, bring the torso upright, drawing the belly gently in and shifting the pelvic floor back to stabilize the core. Lean slightly forward, and breathing in, take the right arm forward, and with an exhalation, bring it toward the ear. Lengthen the right side of the body. Notice how easy it is to scrunch the neck, so keep the neck long as well. And the breath is steady as always. Breathing in, bring the torso upright, and breathing out, reach up, keeping the mid-back long. Release the pose on a breath in, hands to the floor. And exhale as you step your left foot to the rear of the mat. Feet side by side, press the hips high. Come down to hands and knees. And taking a block, lay it sideways on the mat as I'm showing. Resting on your forearms, press the block between the palms, including the heel of the hand, and narrow the elbows shoulder width. Position your knees in line with your hips. Press down with your forearms, feeling the rib cage respond by lifting away from the floor. At the same time, broaden your front chest and upper arms. This will firm your upper back. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, push your hips back to heart-opening pose. Lengthen the whole side body, the armpits, the shoulders, stretching back until you rest your forehead on the mat. Continue to broaden your front chest. If your shoulder hurts, elevate your head on a folded blanket or block to reduce the effort. Now, pressing your elbows to the mat, raise the block just an inch off the floor. Keep the neck and middle back long. Breathe steadily. And lower the block to the floor. Moving the block away, come again to hands and knees. Moving the hands a generous 6 to 8 inches forward. Exhaling, pull your navel to the spine to round the lower back, stretching the back body into cat pose. Let your head drop. Let your tail hang. Keeping your back round and with your arms straight, bring your hips toward the front of the mat. The hips will naturally come to the mat, allowing your spine to fluidly transition from flexion to extension, coming into a long cobra pose. Sliding your legs back if your lower back hurts. Lower yourself to the floor, resting your head on your hands. Turn your toes under and press into the feet to pull your lower back a little longer. Now take your feet hip-width apart and stretch your left arm forward, palm turned in. Breathing in, raise your right leg, initiating the movement from your upper back belly. And exhaling, make the back leg as long as possible. Breathe in, raise your head and chest. Exhale, reaching forward with the arm, coming into locust pose. No tucking. Just a steady breath, long neck, come down to rest. Resting your head on your left hand, stretch your right arm forward, palm in. Think about the mid-back where we're so easily congested. And draw the belly gently into the back if there's any discomfort. Inhale, raise the left leg, and exhaling, lengthen the back body from upper belly to toes. Remember, you can draw your belly slightly in. Breathing in, raise your head and chest. And with an out breath, reach forward, using the arm to lengthen the middle back. Long neck, steady breath. Release and rest. Pushing up to hands and knees, walk your hands to your knees. Pushing back up into standing forward bend with bent knees and the torso hanging. Hold your hips and inhaling, come to stand, keeping the torso long. And bring your palms together at your chest. Turn sideways, stretching the arms wide, and step your feet about wrist width apart. Certainly adjust your stance closer if the wider position is uncomfortable. Position your feet parallel with each other. A poor postural habit that contributes to lower back pain is to stand with the pelvis tucked under. Though your back may be temporarily more comfortable from doing this, the effect is palliative only, and over time may actually strain spinal joints. Let's do an exercise to increase awareness of what a neutral alignment of the pelvis feels like. Holding your hips, tip the sit bones very slightly back to promote the natural curve of the lower back. Let the movement be fluid and effortless. Now sweep your arms behind your back, placing the back of each hand on your ribs. And press the ribs back slightly into the hands. You may feel you're bending forward just slightly. Keeping the pelvis tipped slightly forward. Exhale and lift the side ribs to the collarbones without sacrificing the broad lower ribs. Now let your arms relax at your sides. Breathing in, take the arms forward, and breathing out, raise the arms by the ears. Remember, no bent elbows, relaxed long neck. Keeping your hips fixed, exhale and rotate your upper body to the right. As you turn, use the arms to gently elongate your back. Breathe in, release, and exhale, rotate the upper body to the left. Again, the arms and the exhale make the back longer. Inhale, release, and returning to center, hold your hips. Breathe in and hinge forward from your hips, keeping the back long, not rounded or sway back. Place your hands on the floor for standing wide leg forward bend. Use a block under your hands if you cannot keep your torso long. Pressing into the floor or block, shift your hips slightly behind your heels. And then with an exhalation, try to take your hands a little bit further forward. Keep lengthening the middle back. And the breath is quiet and steady. Walk your hands in, shift your hips forward, and holding your hips, breathe in, begin to stand, And as you exhale, draw your belly gently in to stand all the way up. Step the feet together and hinge over to standing forward bend with bent knees. If your back hurts when you hang over like this, you can practice this pose with your forearms on your thighs. Inhale, come up to stand. Exhale, palms together at the chest. Stepping your feet wide, as before, hold your hips and hinge forward with a long torso, placing the hands on the floor or block. Center your left hand under the chest and hold your hip with the right hand. Gazing at the floor, press down with the left hand. The chest will respond by lifting. Still gazing down, use your right hand to help elongate the waist. Keep the breath steady. Keeping the hips level, breathe out and pull the upper side ribs toward the back. You'll feel the twist deepen. Now bring the right hand where the left is, and the left hand holds the hip. Gazing at the floor, exhale, pressing down with the right arm, while the left hand nudges the hip away from the waist. Keeping the hips level, exhale and slide the left side ribs to the back body. You'll feel your upper back muscles firm. Inhale, release both hands to the floor. Now hold your hips and breathing in, begin to stand. But use the exhalation and strong abs to support your lower back as you stand upright. Lie on your back with a folded blanket under your head and hold your knees. Gently lengthen your neck and take a moment to press the back to the floor. Holding your right knee, inhale, stretch your left leg to the ceiling, and exhaling, lower the leg until the heel is an inch from the floor. Try to make the back leg longer than the front. Imagine your leg begins in your upper belly. Breathing in, bring your chin to your chest, and breathing out, round as many ribs off the floor as possible, continuing to draw the navel gently in. Now down you come, and let's change sides. Hold the left knee, and breathing in, extend the right leg up, and exhale, slowly lowering it until the heel is an inch off the floor. Again, make the back leg longer than the front. Breathing in, chin to chest. Breathing out, curl the ribs off the floor to bring the head to the knee. It's not knee to head. Inhale, release, and rest in constructive rest. Remove the blanket from under your head and adjust your feet to have them hip width, parallel, and ankles in line with the knees. Stretch your arms wide, and on a breath in, and using your inner thighs, push your knees forward over your toes to lengthen the back. Breathing out, press down with the feet and pull the inner thighs towards the hips to lift the pelvis to bridge shoulder stand. Don't tuck or overgrip your glutes, and back off if the lower back hurts. Hold for a couple of smooth breaths. Inhale, release, and exhaling, lower your spine to the floor, bone by bone, hips last. Let's do this again, but with your feet wider, almost mat width. Evenly press the feet to the floor, balancing the weight between the base of the big and little toes and the center of each heel. As before, inhale to move the knees over the toes, and exhaling, pull the inner thighs to the hips to lift them to bridge shoulder stand. Steady breathing. Inhale, release, and come down one vertebra at a time. Do you prefer one foot position over the other? Was one more comfortable for your back? In future, practice this pose in your preferred position. Lie on your back with a blanket under your head. Hold your right knee and stretch your left leg up, and exhaling, slowly lower it to the floor. Keeping that leg active, roll to your left side, bringing the right knee to the floor. Position your knee at hip level and slide it a bit further to the left to turn the hips more. If your hip or back are uncomfortable, put a block under the knee. Inhale, raising your right arm and turning the palm overhead. Exhale, extending the arm by the ear. Pull the belly in gently, and with an exhalation, use the arm to elongate the back body, especially the middle back. Breathing in, raise the arm up, and exhaling, reach the arm to the right, bringing it about a third of the way to the floor. This is not just about position, it's always about action. Feel the effect of the strong, working arm. As you exhale, press your right side ribs towards the mat to deepen the rotation of the upper back. Breathing in, release the twist and roll onto your back. Hold the left knee. Stretch the right leg up and exhaling, lower it slowly to the floor. Roll to your right, bringing the left knee to the floor. With the knee at hip level, slide it further to the right. Put a block under your knee if your back or hip aren't happy. Inhale, raise your left arm and turning palm overhead, exhale the arm to the ear. Hold back if the neck tightens or you can't keep your arms straight. And use the action of the arm to elongate the back body. Inhale, bring the arm up, and exhaling, stretch the arm to the left, bringing it a third of the way to the floor. Use the arm's action to broaden the chest and upper back. And steady breathing. Exhaling, press the upper side ribs towards the mat. Inhale, release, and roll to your back, hugging the knees. The final pose of this practice is a deep relaxation pose called Shavasana. Take a blanket and fold it from the short end into thirds as I'm showing. Place the folded blanket at one end of your mat and lie back on it, so the blanket supports both your head and upper shoulders. Separate your feet mat width and relax your legs. Spread your arms slightly wider than the mat and relax them. If your lower back is unhappy, place a bolster under your thighs. Now close your eyes. As you relax, consciously release tension from your shoulders, allowing them to melt into the blanket. As the body grows quiet, turn your attention to the breathing, feeling how, as the body relaxes, the breath settles into a more relaxed rhythm as well. Notice how the exhalation gets longer and more leisurely as well, quite naturally, and that the pause that occurs between breaths grows longer too. Inhalations become effortless. Bring your attention to the mid-torso, the solar plexus. I brought your attention here over and over again in the active practice. Let the rhythm of breathing melt away perhaps years' worth of physical and emotional holding patterns. Be patient. If the mind wanders, return it to the massaging breath again and again. Feel the tension fall away. Now slowly slide your arms overhead. Stretch your right arm and left leg. Left arm and right leg. And rolling to your side, rest your head on your arm. Coming up to sit, bring your palms together at your chest and close your eyes. Namaste.